And then for our phase 2 of year 1, again, phase 2 is looking at setting up compost piles. And this is going to be in collaboration with the city of Hallandale. So when we decided to set this up, we decided to look at 2 different piles. So we wanted to look at adding vegetative waste to a pile and just looking at a control pile of just sargassum alone. So you can see the city of Hallandale collected their grass, any clippings or any vegetative waste from around the city, and they brought it to their Department of Public Works. And when they brought it to the Department of Public Works, we collected sargassum off the beach the same day, and we set up the 2 different piles. And basically, I'll go into a little bit of the results that we've seen so far. So in terms of conductivity, you can see that these two piles have higher conductivity than our tumbler composter, because again, we're looking at a larger amount of sargassum that we're composting, and especially it's not as small, so it's not as controlled. But you can see that we start off with the high levels of conductivity, and then we kind of have a stark decrease. And again, these piles are open to the weather, and they're those 2 weeks or the weeks prior to when I sampled, when there was that stark decrease on June 21st, we had a week of a lot of rain before. So we were seeing that maybe a lot of the salinity kind of just washes out the sargassum naturally. So you kind of see that stark decrease in terms of the conductivity. And then for the pH and the moisture content, again, the red boxes just represent what's the recommended range from the U.S. Composting Council. And for the piles that were set up at Hallandale, for the pH, we're closer to what the recommended ranges are. And then for the moisture content, what's interesting is the pile that has the sargassum and the vegetative waste added, it's more so in that recommended range than just looking at the pure sargassum alone. And we're currently still collecting data for this project. So for the bacteria, it's a very similar story to what we have for the tumbler composters. You can see that the vegetative waste, which we're thinking it's very similar to the grass clippings that was added for phase 1 in the tumbler composters. You can see the low levels of bacteria, but then as that decomposition process happens, you have a spike in the bacteria levels that were detected, and then you kind of see the levels start to dwindle off. And so you can see as the sargassum starts to decompose, you have higher levels of bacteria that's found in the pile and as well as the tumbler composters.